Absolutely.
So do you want to introduce it or shall I introduce
You
it?
introduce it. I think I did the last one, didn't
I think you did. So it's episode 190.
I? 9.
We can't, we're going to be stuck at 99 and be doing 99A, 99B, 99C until
we get
Marco is...
Marco's.
Yeah, so I'll maybe need to...
Have you asked him?
He offered me.
Oh.
But I think he may, but he's probably a late night, text that he instantly regretted.
Yeah, maybe. And also because he's in with this adoption crowd,
Adoption crowd.
Adopt for life, or what? No, what are they called?
You can adopt?
You can adopt. Yeah.
I'm not sure that he is.
I thought he was into all that.
No, I don't know.
No? Okay.
I know.
Oh, well, whatever.
Well, hello and welcome to what is the... Well, what is it? It's the 199th episode of the Adoption Podcast. But that's absolutely not true. With me, Al Coates, and yourself.
Scott Castle-René.
And unusually, Scott, and probably from the audio, you'll tell that we're in the same room. You're in the kitchen of...
Yeah, you're in my kitchen, which is a crap old room, isn't it, for sound and...
Well...
I mean, I've heard some podcasts most time, and some of them are terrible with their sound, but...
Oh, you can be so catty, Scott. You can be so catty. It is not actually our 190th. If we look at the list
99th, you said.
Oh, 99th, yeah, exactly. Uh-huh. So we were counting.
Yes, we just did.
So actually, it's our 488th podcast.
Although I'm not sure I've appeared on all of them, and you've not appeared on.
I was going to say, nor I.
Yeah, but you've definitely done more than I have.
Well, that's probably true.
You love to chat to people, don't you?
Some people have got a commitment, Scott. Take it. Don't lash out.
What can I throw?
Take it. Just take it. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We have to maybe temper their insults now because you can't actually get.
My air fryer is sitting there just looking at you. So yes, I could go through your head.
Well, normally when we podcast, I have this I'll text you things, won't I?
Yes.
But now I can't text you, can I?
You can't. No.
Can't.
I mean, you could, but my phone's on mute thing, Bob.
We do that.
Disturb.
Yeah. But the strange things happened to me today, Scott. Well, I keep getting these messages from LinkedIn.
Oh, right. Okay.
And people saying congratulations.
Yes, I know. I saw as well.
Did you get them as well?
No, because I think our dates might be a little bit different, but we'll go with your date.
I've had about 5 or 6 people who contact me going, congratulations on 8 years at the podcast. And so it's 8 years, Scott.
I mean, it is 8 years. And we did look at it, and but it is 8 years.
But it's not the day.
I'm sure we would have been out by now had we just created some merry hell that day in London, and it did get me to thinking about how we first met, where we first met, and all that sort of stuff. Because it was and we've just talked about this as well. It's 8 years since we both won our National Adoption Week awards.
Did you win an award, Scott?
I won an award, yeah. It's the only one.
Were you
I've ever won.
best adopter ever?
No, I was adoption champion.
But here's the same thing. You literally won an award for being the best adopter that year.
No, I don't think that's
what is it for?
I don't think that was the definition. But anyway, what I'm saying is, you won Blogger of the Year.
Again? No, that was the first time. Oh, did I mention twice?
But it was the year before. That was when we properly met. And then we kind of worked up to this thing where you invited me on to be a guest on the podcast, and you never got rid of me. Because you had to put it over 2 episodes as well, because I chatted that much.
Like a stubborn stain in your underclothes.
Do you know, in 8 years we've developed things that's called oxy-action, so you could probably...
I could do that.
Anyway.
But if I'd have said to you 8 years ago... this is a bit of a celebratory kind of podcast. It feels like, let's have a moment. Let's have a moment. We're together.
Bollocks to it.
I'm drinking juice. You're drinking wine. Let's call the whole thing off.
I've got my pavlova.
You made a lovely pavlova. Oh, I tell you, you're a man with hidden talents. And if I'd have said to you 8 years ago, I'm going to start a podcast and we'll be doing this in 8 years and we'll be doing weekly podcasts, what would you have said?
I'd have done that. I'd have laughed in your face. And I think... if you remember, and I'm being genuine when I say this, if you think back, you were blogging at the time and you said, I'm wanting to give up blogging.
Yeah.
I know you haven't given it up, but
I was wanting to wind it down.
You were doing it every week, weren't you? And it was quite, was it time consuming?
You mean my award-winning blog, Scott?
Yes, your
award-winning multiple blog. Yes, award-winning blog. Yeah, thank you.
2-time award-winning. But And I remember at that point just thinking, well, it'll be a time limiting thing because you might not you'll get bored, but it'll just be something that kind of expires.
Run its course. Yeah.
And as we've gone through, like I was saying just a couple of minutes ago, podcasts.
It's a thing.
They keep on coming. They keep on coming. They keep on coming. I think, and I think I was saying to somebody the other day actually that what the podcast does for me is, yes, there's some days where I go, oh, but then when I've done it, I'm like buzz, because and now I don't do it for the figures. I don't do it for the listeners.
No.
As in the numbers of listeners that we get. I do it because I want to do it. And I think that makes a massive difference because I used to get stressed out, sharing it on social media, how many likes we're going to get for this podcast, all that sort of stuff.
Trying to build a fan base and all that.
Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful to everybody that has listened and does continue.
Dear listener.
But it's not really a deal breaker for me to keep on doing it because I enjoy doing it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like we often say, don't we? The amount of times we'll have a right laugh before and then we go, oh, come on, we really need to record. And then we'll have a right laugh afterwards and you go, we must go because Matt did this radio.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's, midnight. But yeah, but I wouldn't have thought that 8 years ago. Absolutely not. No way. And if you think about some of the guests we've had on, and some of the people, but seriously, some of the people we've spoken to, I think back to like Marie Kershaw as an example. I mentioned Marie because we've had her on a couple of times. I think she was episode 3 or 4.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
And then we had her on again maybe 20 episodes later, I don't know. But, just those people who, and I do think that partly social media, in terms of Twitter as an example, we used to have all those conversations on Twitter with people and they used to want to be on the podcast and stuff. I think because Twitter's gone the way it's gone, we don't get that kind of same engagement anymore. So I think that, those are the kinds of podcasts that stick in my head because, who's breaking ground now in terms of adoption? Nobody. And the reason I say that is because rightly the emphasis and the focus has gone into kinship and all that sort of stuff and that's the way it should be. And I think for us, we're two old timers. We just love having the banter. We love having the chats. If we have a guest on, we have a guest on. We get emails week in, week out. Some of the strangest emails we could,
Actually, I must remind me, I need to ask you about a couple of emails we've had, what dates you can do.
Oh dear, not feng shui, is it?
It's not the feng shui lady. We should, honestly, she might come and get us. She might come and rearrange our furniture aggressively.
Feng shui me, yeah. But yeah.
A man was killed in Venice today in a freak feng shui incident.
Yeah. But also, if you think about the quality of the podcast when we first started, it took us a while, didn't it?
It was like an egg.
Yeah.
Egg cups and string, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Egg pots and string.
We were using Skype way back in.
Oh, I'm traumatised by Skype.
And it was a horrendous platform to use.
It was.
So gratefully, we can now sit in separate rooms and it can sound like we're in the same room, but everybody knows, the majority of the time we are in separate. Yeah, exactly. Whereas, like you say, tonight we are sat in my kitchen.
It is interesting. I mean, I think the thing that I've got from the podcast is that we've just talked to some amazing people in a way that, I think one that springs to mind, totally randomly really, is Sarah Lloyd, who was the physiotherapist. And I remember you and me going, the world just disappeared and we were talking about our kids and we were just like going, tell me some more. And you go, this opportunity to speak with like a national expert, someone who's pushing the edge of knowledge, and we're having a conversation about our kids with her.
Absolutely.
And who else gets that? You'd have to go through whatever.
Well, you'd have to have it commissioned and apply through the SF and all that sort of stuff.
And you go, oh man, this is benefit. We've got so much more than anyone else.
Exactly.
Maybe that's apparent.
Yeah. But interesting, you mentioned Beth Neal earlier as well, and that was the couple of episodes we've had her on the view. This is probably the funniest ones we've ever done because if you've ever met Beth Neal, dear listener, you'll know that when you first meet her, you think, oh, nice to meet you, Beth
academic
Neal. Beth Neal, academic, very well known, blah blah. But once you get into the guts of it, she's just hilarious. She's
dry as sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. But she's just so funny.
Well, actually, I met her this week. Did I tell you? I bumped into this week.
Tell me,
yeah. So, but absolutely, and the list is countless. I mean, you just have to go through, and it's children's minister. I mean, who?
We left a week later.
But again, really warm and engaging. Just what a privilege to speak to the Children's Minister.
And as well, if you think about like being an adoption land as well, we've interviewed all three CEOs of Adoption UK.
That's true.
So Hugh Thornbury, he's been on a couple of times, and then Sue Armstrong Brown, and then Emily Frith.
Yes.
As well. She's only been on once, but now they've got their own podcast. We probably won't have that.
No, I don't think that'll happen. I think we're off the Christmas card list now.
Probably. But we're still the original, still
kinship.
The best. Kinship, yeah, absolutely.
All the people from Cora and Bath.
Robin,
and lots of. I mean, I guess that's one side, but also the amazing people we've talked to in terms of sharing their stories. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had that conversation the last couple of weeks with somebody who's asked us about the conversations and this.
Yeah.
Well, asked you because you do most of them, but yeah, and I guess what the conversations for me, what it's done. Excuse me, it's changed my language, my perspective on what it would like to be adopted. I saw a post today on LinkedIn. Tanya Killick had liked it or shared it, I can't remember, and it was Claire, how to be adopted, Claire.
Yeah.
And she'd posted a photograph of well, she has been on the show, hasn't she? But she does her own thing and what have you. And I think where earlier kind of conversations and people who were adopted or who are adopted joined us, I think they've kind of gone off to do their own thing, which is great and lovely to see. But I don't think they should underestimate just how much of an influence they've had, well, on me personally. So if they've had an influence on me, who else have they had an influence? But in terms of language, seeing the kind of this post was about the fact that there's lots of peer support for parents. I don't think it said this, but this is kind of my thing of it. But actually, for older people who've been adopted, there's no peer support kind of thing. And this post was about the fact that they brought 8 or 9 adopted adults together and just how that had gone. And I'm thinking, fantastic. I'm not saying that's as a result of this podcast, but what I'm saying is it changed my view on seeing things like that and going, damn straight, you should. Why are they not? Why are we not doing that?
Absolutely.
So I think that, you can, even just that adopted bit, as an adopted adult, I was adopted, I am adopted, the variations of that, there are variations of that because everybody has a different preference and, that's fine. But it's about tuning in to the person that you're speaking to and making sure that you're using the correct language.
Whatever they prefer,
But, I mean, it has, absolutely.
Oh, it's been great. I mean, but we do it because it's fun.
We do. Of course we do. Yeah. But we've got
a really cracking guest list and a great address book.
Absolutely, yeah. Fantastic. And 3 annual conferences. So
that was fun.
During COVID.
Yeah.
Who did you come to?
We never really got down to the road shows, did we?
No, we didn't.
Maybe that's something we should. We were thinking of a few developments, so I was thinking of maybe dabbling with video. We'll see how that plays out.
Oh, say.
Somebody
needs to see that.
This is a man with a face for radio. So that's interesting. So that's a little. I don't know. It's a little pause for thought on that 8th anniversary.
Yeah.
And we'll keep doing it. Well, we did have a conversation. I tentatively said, "Are you starting?"
Yeah, you did, didn't you? I knew why you were saying it as well. And I think over the kind of last couple of years, especially since the brain thing, it kind of does make you sometimes wonder. Not question doing it and stuff. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. But just sometimes it does. At the end of a long day, when it's been a tough day, do I really want to speak to alcohols?
Lots of people have asked that question. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm sure you think the same. You go, oh God, I've got to speak to this stupid.
No, I always feel like you're doing me a massive favour. I just think that because I often am beaver me going, I've got a plan.
Yeah.
Scott, I've got a plan. Would you be here on this date online? And you're going, whatever. And then I'll message you today going, did you remember about tonight? I go, I feel like I'm nagging him, turning into his mother.
But you know what? If you just put it in my calendar, it'd be so much easier.
I have no idea how calendars work.
You send an invite and you put the Zoom link. But anyway, that's.
But let's not fall out in front of the
domestics.
kids.
Yeah, domestics in front of the listeners. So, but I don't regret it. And what's interesting as well, that 8 years and we're
still friends.
Well, yeah, we are. I don't think we've.
Well, I wouldn't go
fallen out.
I would say
we've had a few crosswords, especially when it comes to you using the.
What did we have crosswords about?
No, when you were trying to design stuff. And I took away your login rights for Canva. Because
quite reasonably,
let's be honest.
Colourblind man.
Yeah, colourblind man doing design is not.
Yeah, it's not. It's a good bad look.
I was just thinking as well. I know that we've done 400 odd like real episodes, but in terms of our series, because we were talking earlier, if we did a series of episodes, it would be maybe 8 episodes a series. So if you work that out over the 400 odd we've done, that's like 52 series or seasons, depending on where you're listening to, of
that's
podcasts.
depressing.
Like there's people who die doing, nearly did, but so I think we've done loads. We have done loads.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Still enjoying it.
In 30 years' time, if podcasts are still a thing, our kids will be able to download a podcast to listen to us.
Or not.
Or not, yeah. But maybe if they want to just hear our voice and just drown out what we're talking about, but to hear our voices.
Oh, it's a legacy.
I always
for
think that because I don't have, like, my dad, 2009, he died. The only voice I remember is what's in my head.
Oh.
I can still hear him chatting and stuff, but I don't have a recording of him.
Oh, you've got me all maudlin now because I don't think I've got anything.
There you go.
See,
I think about that quite a
lot.
lot.
I'm glad I talked to you. You've cheered me right up.
Sorry about that.
Isn't it?
Drink your squash.
Yeah.
Make you happy.
Yeah, so a quick recap. I've had a busy week, but it's been National Adoption Week, Scott, and I know that you purposely tune out.
Not least because we don't have it here.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's one reason.
Yeah, but there's a bit of a buzz online. Scott, I've got to confess, I didn't mention this, but I have maybe been part of a podcast or two. So they might be out this week. I'm not sure when this podcast episode will come out because I've totally lost the plot in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so during National Adoption Week, I just need to say that we really need to try much harder generally, because I was part of a professional outfit doing a podcast that you can adopt people. There was a team of people.
You just mentioned the name. I'm like, oh god.
So you can. So I got asked if I would share, like, be the host of a podcast for them, and they were going to do a birth parent, but that all kind of got complicated. So I did an adopted adult and her father. Mm-hmm. I think it's out on Friday the 25th, and it will have been out. I'll have shared it shamelessly.
Oh, no doubt.
But Scott, some people out there taking podcasts really seriously. Like there was a crack team of bright young things who shepherded me, the talent.
The talent. Oh my God.
And
is that what they called you?
That's what they're calling me in their heads.
If anybody from You Can Adopt is listening, that's not a label that we put on our coats.
I'd be called many things, but never that.
The talent.
So they would send me like little. They would send me sheets of like reams of things that I had to learn. And that, well, not learn, but I had to read out. So, like, it was all scripted. And they were like, oh, you can say what you want, but if we could do your version first. So I had to, you'll have to listen to it because it's hilarious. I'm sure it'll be like me going, welcome to, because I'm not great at reading, like, and doing it. So I was like, welcome to the You Can, this is a national, and it's just awful. And then the couple were lovely that I spoke to, but they had to use this really complicated website where we all had to download different bits of thing, but so there was producers and there was a technician. So there was a man who was pulling the levers, and there was a producer, and the producer was like going, yeah, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we'll talk about this and this. And then, so I would have a conversation with people, and like there was like 25 things going on in my head. And then a little message would appear, was going, and if you could now move on to the next question. And I just thought, how have we got as far as we've got? Because these people have really got their shizzle together, absolutely on fire. I
don't think I'm going to make any comment because I'm just itching to not be very nice about all of that, to be honest with you. And I don't think that's fair because I wasn't there.
Well, it's their job, isn't it? It's a
job, but why are they spending money on stuff like that when they could just be...
I didn't get paid.
No, I didn't say you got paid, but I'm saying somebody's spending money on technicians and producers to produce a podcast. They could just produce by...
What? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what we spend £62 a year.
Exactly. And we have fun doing it.
Oh,
and
we do have
script
fun.
And okay.
No, it's a good podcast, but it was like really interesting to kind of see that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not a good podcast. Can I just be very clear, I have never listened to it because I don't like the
You will,
narrative
of course, be listening to mine.
Well, I might do, but I don't like the narrative of You Can Adopt. Or
you won't listen to it, will you?
Probably not. But
you won't listen to it,
just,
Scott.
No.
Right, okay, let's just get to that. If we could just put a big bottom
Coram Bath's one as well. Honestly.
Oh.
And it makes me sound like I'm bitter and twisted. I'm not bitter and twisted about it. I don't care.
You go on podcasts
I go
all
on
the time.
podcasts. Exactly. I'm irrelevant these days. But my point is, there's other things to be spending money on. And a podcast, doing it to that kind of level.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I just don't.
I think it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we're keen amateurs, aren't we? Yeah, it's interesting. So I've done that. I've been on 2 podcasts. I went to an early permanence conference at the beginning of the week. I got invited, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And Beth Neal was there. She was talking, and she was, as always, fantastic. Beth Neal's moving abroad. I think that's a formal news.
Are you allowed to say that?
I just did.
I know, but are you
and it is general knowledge.
That?
So yes, but I think we're going to lose someone who's had a pivotal voice in the UK.
We need to get her on before she does move.
We will get her on, but we'll set limits on her because she kept us right in check last time. If we'd been,
she's not hosting this time.
No, we're not there hosting. Yeah, I guess because she went mad with it.
Absolutely.
The power.
It just went straight to her head.
I know. But it was really interesting. So it was about how to manage early permanence. So there was talk about the impact on children, and it was an interesting perspective in terms of it is the best possible route for children in terms that the children get the best potential journey through early permanence. But what was really interesting, and I kind of and there was, we know that there's limited support for for birth parents, but it was really interesting. I was thinking, if you're an adoptive parent and that, how could you not fully engage? Because were you early permanence?
No.
But you adopted before you
fostered and then adopted.
But was that's early permanence?
Well, yeah, I guess it could be classed as that, but it wasn't. It wasn't classed as that, if that makes sense.
Oh, it was early permanence.
But yeah, it probably would have been because we knew what was going to happen.
But was that absolutely certain that was going to happen?
Yes.
As much as anything certain.
Yeah. As much as exactly. But that was the ultimate plan.
But we had a guest, and there was a podcast last week or a few weeks ago about a couple who did it and who did early permanence, and it was challenging. It's always challenging. But I just thought, actually, if it goes wrong, what? Yeah. Because you expect people to fully. You don't want people to go, I'll hedge my bets. I'll just do a canny job. You want to go all in, claim a child.
Absolutely. And I think I think years and years ago, when First for Adoption was still a thing. I went and did a thing down at it was in London anyway. It might have been at Coram, I can't remember. Where we did interviews, and early permanence was on the agenda. And I remember meeting this one lady who had ended up not having the child permanently because the circumstances surrounding the placement had changed and what have you. And I remember asking her, what support did you get when that happened? She went, well, I didn't really get anything, to be honest. But this was a good few years ago, so I hope it's changed. But it struck me as something that I would never want to do because of that uncertainty. And no. Well,
I asked on Facebook on a group I'm in. And it was really interesting because a lot of people talked. So everyone who responded, so there's maybe 7 or 8 people, and they gave really long responses, which is really appreciated. But they were talking about it being absolutely torturous, but they did but the children did remain with them in the end, and so people talking about a 6-month process that turned into a 2-year process, and the impact of contact on the children, and so I think it's a really rough ride, but I think if it works, then it's great.
And didn't we have Anna Sharkey on at some point from Adoption Focus?
Yeah.
And she was talking about early permanence as well.
Yeah,
I know it's a thing, and I think if it's got the potential to work for everybody involved, then it's a great thing. But obviously, not everything does work for everybody, doesn't it?
That's true.
It's a bit. Yeah.
Hey ho. Well, I don't have much more to talk about, Scott. We've had a busy day. I've been here in FASD Island.
You have?
Been doing NVR with your families, which is it's really interesting, and it's kind of it is. I think it's probably it is worth commenting there.
I think it is definitely worth commenting on.
Right. Okay. Well, it was great. It's great to be here. Right. First of all, it's absolutely lovely,
welcome.
and it's great to be supporting families. And what is really fascinating, so the families that were represented in the group that I was working with were adoptive parents, international adoption, foster carers, biological parents, all kinds.
It's a good mix. Did
I do that? A subtle blend. But we did a thing, and I've not really done it before. But I kind of, as people were sharing their experiences at the beginning, was hello, welcome, why are you here? And we wrote them down on pieces of. Every person got like a full-size flip chart sheet, and then we pinned it on the wall. And it was just really. I think I said to you, must go and read that. After I'd finished the session, because actually it's just profound. The actual when you see people's experiences written down.
Absolutely, yeah.
And everyone was kind of like, everyone was caveating everything, was saying, but I love them. They're great kids. They're really, they're just amazing kids. But they've had such a rough ride, and it was really moving. And there was a few moments where I was like, I thought, how do we get out of this really tricky spot? Because people were just so honest. But it was really, really wonderful, really good group.
But I did find it interesting that you had to start from a different position to how you would in the UK, which is. You know, I mean, you know yourself, I've been saying to you that since I moved here, Ireland is completely different. We might just like be a hop, skip and a jump over a piece of water, but it's so different here. And you said you had to start at a completely different place to what you would have done had you been delivering a similar session in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt that I couldn't. Well, I guess when you live in a culture, you don't see the culture. And it's only when you move to it, while you work in a different environment, you kind of go, I can't presume anything about these people. These people. But sort of these families, these humans before me.
Absolutely.
So it was really wonderful. But what is also interesting is that some of the dynamics are just universal in terms of how dads interact, how mums interact, or don't. Or that complicated thing of how you often do groups and only half of the couple come, and that is really problematic.
Absolutely.
In terms of unity of families,
consistency.
That's the word, isn't
stuff.
it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But no, it's been a great day, and we've got another one tomorrow. We'll see what the future holds, because we got some funding to do this one, so it was really good.
We love a bit of funding.
We got a bit of funding to deliver proper grown-up training.
I know. Honestly, clearly they'd never listened to the podcast.
But that was the other thing as well. You said to me this morning, because Al arrived last night very late, didn't you? Very, very late.
I was it was after 11.
Well, it was even late for me. I'm normally in bed by 11 these days. But anyway, but what I found interesting this morning, because we've been planning this and trying to organise it and do all the bits and bobs and blah, blah, blah for weeks, and it only hit me when we got in this morning. Actually, I was crapping myself.
Really?
And you said to me this morning when I was making coffee or something, you went, I tend to get a little bit anxious when I'm doing, new training and stuff like that. You said that, and I was like, you do surprise me. And I got to work, and I was like, the anxiety level just went whoosh. And it wasn't about anything specific, but
it wasn't because I was doing it.
It wasn't anything specific. It was about, right, I've got to go and get the pastries, I've got to get the milk, I've got to, make sure there's hot water, blah, blah, blah. Now, what helped, obviously, is because, we've got a team now, and, two of the guys... A crack team. Two of the guys were on most of it when we arrived. Yeah. Which, just to be clear, I didn't just leave people to get on with it. The plan was that we were going to go, but because you obviously had a long journey last night and stuff, it was
servant leadership.
We weren't going to be in at 7 a.m. this morning. But I just find it really interesting that, even and I think, when I think back to my Adoption Plus days, when I used to do the training with them,
of course,
I didn't get the same level of anxiety. I always wanted them to have a great day and, enjoy the training, enjoy the refreshments and the lunches and all that sort of stuff.
The dancing.
But I didn't have the same anxiety because this is mine. It's us.
So is that the first time that you've delivered training in that way at the venue?
Yeah, because normally we do it all online, don't we?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, we've hired out the room and all that sort of stuff before, but we've never actually done proper physical in-person training for...
It was nice. I've loved it.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
I thought it was good.
I will be back. I'll be back. There was
pastries.
You
don't have a choice, love.
All right, that's fair enough.
You've got to come back.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It was good. And I think the best thing was, speaking to the families that left, they were totally like...
Well, those that stayed to the end.
They all stayed to the end. But everybody thoroughly just, enjoyed the content and really got a lot out of it. So, we'll know more when we get the feedback.
And we're also following them. Apparently we're doing a physical one, then we're doing some online ones, top-ups, stuff like that. So anyway, it's been absolutely wonderful, and you're off on your holly bobs. So we've recorded a smorgasbord of interviews, and hopefully people have enjoyed them, because this will probably come out before that. People will have enjoyed them. And then we're going to have to call on Mark Owers, who's going to do our 200th episode.
We are, aren't we? Yeah. Because I don't think this will be going out in adoption.
I have no
National
idea.
Adoption Week.
No, I have to write. So this, I've totally lost the plot about where I'm up to in the schedule. But we recorded a podcast last week with Sam Turner, and I forgot to release it. I released a totally different one. I just went, oh crap! After I'd gone out after 3 days, I went, oh. So I'm gonna have to get in touch with Sam Turner and say, Sam, I'm really sorry, I totally forgot.
Oopsie.
I know. I had one job. I literally had one job.
But then you have been busy. I mean, the podcast used to be your life, and now you have different things going on.
It is one
as a result of the podcast. But
there's a cruel irony there. Yes, that's fantastic. My Churchill Fellowship. Yeah, I've got one more interview to do with an Irish kinship care organisation.
I know them.
Excellent.
Funny enough.
Oh, actually, then and I'm going to speak to someone in Texas who's starting up a parents group. That's random, isn't it?
Texas to Ireland.
Yeah, and then we got a Jewish foster care agency wanting to come on the podcast. So that's just totally random.
There is, isn't it? And interestingly, did you know there's an Ennis in Texas as well?
Well, on that bombshell.
Exactly.
Let's go. As always, the pleasure was all yours. Yeah, and I hope you have a fantastic holiday. And by the time this comes out, you might be back. I have no idea.
Be January time.
I feel like that we've literally derailed our schedule, and I need to go away and sit down in a very dark room and have a really hard think about my attitude. It only took 188 episodes for us to go right off the rails and just become this random.
You're always so good at it as well.
I know. I can't believe it.
Honestly.
Well, bon jovi.
Anchovy.